Hello ladies and gentlemen, we're back here today and we're going to continue with our one sketch clock. In the previous video we made the clock parts. Now we're going to do the assembly and animate our clock. Here is our clock with our parts, and we're going to go over to an assembly tab, so you can click on the plus sign and choose create assembly if you don't already have an assembly ready. When you open the assembly up, it's just a blank space with the origin present and visible. I'm going to click the Insert tab at the top of the screen, and we're going to find our clock. I'm just going to choose the entire clock, and without clicking anything else or moving your mouse, you're just going to click the green check mark to insert the clock in the same position it was in your Part Studio. Now if I start dragging things around right now, you'll see that they move. They are free to move around, and I don't want to drag this part around. If I happen to drag this part around, I'm just going to delete it and insert it again. And if I expand the drop down arrows in my insert menu, you'll see that all the parts we created are available separately. And that's why it was important that we named them so we know what they are, and that we created them as separate parts. So let's bring that clock face back in and then green check. Once the part's brought in, the first thing we want to do is choose our base part, our first part, which is going to be this clock face. We want to right click on it and choose Fix. If you don't have the Fix tool under the right click, what is the shortcut? There is a shortcut for that. I'll have to look that up. Fix. Unfix. Fix. You see that's moved, and it is grounded over here. You get the ground part. Let's figure that out later. Alright, so now we want to go ahead and bring these other components in. So the minute hand and the hour hand are going to work together. So we're going to go ahead and bring the hour hand in first, and we're going to use the revolute constraint, the revolute mate. And that revolute mate is going to allow this round object to connect to this round object and still turn. When you go to use mates, you'll see that mates have these little things called mate connectors, and they look kind of like Pac-Man. And whenever you pivot it, unfortunately when you zoom in on it, it doesn't really get any bigger. There are these tiny things. So you got little Pac-Man, and you've got 3 axes, arrows of the 3 different colors. Each represents one of your axes: your x-axis, your y-axis, and your z-axis. When you click, whichever one is visible when you click, in the orientation that is when you click, that's the connector you're grabbing. And if I come over here, I'm going to rotate around so that I can see the mate connector that I want to connect to that. So I want the mate connector that's on the same plane as the bottom of the inside face of my hour hand, and I want it at the center of that circle. So I don't want the one there. I want that one. I don't want one that was up here. I want the one at the center of the circle on the face that I want to have connected to the clock. And you can hit the green check mark, and we'll call that hour hand. And green check that. And that's going to be face down on there. Now, that revolute mate, as I said earlier, it's going to connect them with the same center, stuck together, but that's still going to allow it to turn. So that's going to be allowed to turn. And now we're going to come in here and place that on that center point again. So we use the revolute mate again. We're going to go this time to the mate connector that is on the outer surface of the part. And this time I want to go to the inner surface of that part. It should lift me up a little bit, and it does. So we're going to accept that, and that's going to be the minute hand. And green check. If I wanted that to stick out a little bit further, we can choose an offset. And looks like I screwed up, but I wanted that our hand to be against the purple face. It's no big deal. Just go back into that, and I'm going to choose that first mate connector and get rid of that. And I want to make sure that I click. There we go. The mate connector that was on the purple face. So now you can see we have layers that are stacked up, and the parts aren't mashing into each other. And that's how you do the assembly. Now that that's assembled, we can, these parts are free to move, free to rotate, like a clock. Now in the next video, we'll show you how to set up a gear ratio and get it to animate on its own. Good luck, have fun, and as always, keep being awesome.